Nerdy! You've got to come back with me! Where? Back to the future! The future year 3085 via 1974. What happened? The Earth get taken over by damn dirty apes or something? Precisely! Something's gotta be done about the apes! Hey there, Ape Nation! Darth Jaeger coming at you with another episode of Lost Sci-Fi TV. This time we're checking out the CBS 1974 television series, Planet of the Apes.
The only danger is if they send us to that terrible Planet of the Apes. Wait a minute. Statue of Liberty. That was our planet!
For those who may need a refresher, Planet of the Apes was a movie from 1968 based on the novel by Pierre Boulle. The film would itself birth a number of sequels. 1970's Beneath the Planet of the Apes, followed by Escape from the Planet of the Apes in 1971, Conquest of the Planet of the Apes in 72, and concluding with Battle for the Planet of the Apes in 1973. But when the original movie did gangbuster ratings for CBS on their Friday night movie slot, the decision was made to do a TV series. The series starred Ron Harper and James Naughton as astronauts Verdon and Burke, respectively. Also Roddy McDowall as the chimpanzee Galen, that in my personal headcanon I like to think of as an ancestor to the original Cornelius from the films. The rest of the main cast is made up of the great Mark Lenard as Security Chief Urko, who you may remember from Star Trek as Spock's father, a wonderfully conniving and violent gorilla whose kill-all-humans attitude makes him a terrific antagonist, and Booth Coleman as Counselor Zaius, the highest-ranking ape in Central City. He's basically Urko's intellectual foil when it comes to deciding what should be done with these damn dirty humans that have unexpectedly dropped in. Once again, my own personal headcanon for this TV series tells me this Zaius character must be an ancestor of the movie's Dr. Zaius. That and the fact that the TV series takes place in the future year 3085, which is some 900 years before Charlton Heston's Taylor would arrive on this madhouse. The series was shot primarily at Fox Ranch and Malibu State Park. The production also utilized the MGM backlot for sequences where the heroes and villains explored the post-apocalyptic cities of Northern California. That's another thing about this show. It takes place on the West Coast, where the movies take place on the East Coast. So there must be, multiple big ape cities all around America, in between forbidden zones, I suppose. There's some good episodes, the best of them being the pilot, Escape from Tomorrow, which sets up the familiar premise with astronauts Verdon and Burke passing through a time warp and crash landing on Earth circa 3085. Things are a little different from the movies, as the humans and apes have been living in relative harmony, with the apes, of course, being the alpha chads of the planet. It's here the astronauts meet an inquisitive chimp named Galen, run afoul of Counselor Zaius and Chief Urko, and their adventures begin. Episode 3, The Trap, sees Burke and Urko forced to work together to free themselves after falling down a sinkhole and into an underground BART station in downtown San Francisco. This one has a terrific performance by Mark Lenard as he tries to come to grips with the fact that humans were once superior to apes, and let's just say, he doesn't take it too well. The final episode of the series is also my favorite. Up Above the World So High. It has the astronauts helping a human prisoner to build a hang glider for the female chimp scientist that spared the guy's life. Little do they know that she plans to strap bombs to the device, fly to Ape Central City and stage a violent takeover of the government. I can't say I blame her, actually. Taxation is theft. The series really doesn't contain any bad episodes per se. Some that are obviously better than others, but I think the biggest mistake the show makes is being generally just mediocre. Week after week, the stories were just variations on Burke, Verdon, and Galen getting into a jam and escaping back into Malibu State Park at the end. Rinse, repeat. Other than terrific performances by McDowell, Leonard, Coleman, Harper, and Naughton, the fantastic sets and award winning ape makeup, Planet of the Apes never really hit the heights of shows that came before it, like Star Trek or Twilight Zone, or even future programs like Alien Nation. But to be fair, with only 14 episodes, it didn't have a lot of time to soar, or even really get off the ground. Occasionally, the writers would try to set up an overarching narrative, like in Episode 5, The Legacy, which the astronauts find a supercomputer in a vault that projects this holographic message claiming that all human scientific knowledge is buried in various vaults like it all around the world. And I thought, oh, cool, this show is setting up a quest line. They'll pick it up from time to time and eventually lead to a satisfying conclusion. No, that was the first and last time we would ever hear about that. Another thing that may not have helped the show was that by 1974, the whole Ape Mania fad was dying down, and the series seems like one of a couple of last-ditch efforts to squeeze a few more shekels out of the Ape franchise before retiring it. Well, that isn't least until 1975, when the totally awesome but absolutely bonkers Saturday morning cartoon returned to the Planet of the Apes debut. But more on that in a future video. Hey, before we continue, here's a few fun facts about the show. The Ape soldiers carried Walther P-38s as their main sidearms, the gun that would become Megatron. The long shots of Ape City, or Ape Central as they would call it, were just reused establishing shots from the movies. And the funniest thing I found about the series while watching it was that Verdon and Burke were always so smooth and clean shaven, despite never picking up a razor throughout the entire series. The sad thing about this fun sci-fi adventure series is that it only ran for 14 episodes, and only 13 were ever aired. That's like half a season. We didn't even get a finale letting us know what happened to Verdon and Burke. Or did we? More on that later. But why was it canceled, you might ask? Well, unlike many other sci-fi shows that had good to great ratings but were canceled for reasons like cost or because a studio executive just didn't like or understand science fiction, Les Moonves, I'm looking at you, Planet of the Apes just didn't get the kind of ratings it needed to justify its $250,000, that's $1.66 million in today's money, per episode budget. And that's really it. Ratings were too low, cost was too high. Kids apparently loved the show, but kids have no money, so that wasn't exactly the audience the network was looking for. It also probably didn't help the show that it was sharing a time slot with Sanford and Son and Chico and the Man, two hugely popular sitcoms at the time. So in the end, astronauts Verdon and Burke didn't end up making it back to their own time. Or did they? Which brings us to the TeleFilms. In 1980, 10 of the 14 episodes were edited into 5 TV movies and sold into syndication. And someone, I have no idea who, convinced none other than Roddy McDowell to reprise his role as an older version of Galen, and they shot a series of intros and outros for these TV movies, and one of these included the revelation that Verdon and Burke did end up surviving, and did indeed find a computer in another city and disappeared into space as suddenly as they'd arrived. So, a happy ending for the astronauts after all, but not so happy for Apes fans who will never see this unfilmed finale. Overall, despite its flaws, I enjoyed the show. I mean, how can you go wrong with apes riding horses and brandishing firearms in a post-apocalyptic hellscape? But what did you all think of the show? Let me know down in the comments section if you've seen the show or the movies it's based on. And remember to like, share, subscribe. It's a free thing you can do that really helps out the channel. And I'll see all y'all in the next video. Later.